Hello everyone, welcome to UniVoyage. This is Vedika, and today I'm going to be talking about the social placements at IPM IIM Indore and my experience working at IIM Ahmedabad's incubator CII.co as an intern. Before I get into any of that, just wanted to say that if you are an aspirant, if you feel the need for any kind of resources, then do feel free to check out our website. We are providing material right from theoretical content, ebooks, recorded video lectures. We are also giving live classes, full-length mocks, and analysis of this mocks. Moving on to the social placements at IPM IIM Indore. For those of you that don't know, after the second year, we have 2 months internship. It's a social internship, which basically means that it could be like with a think tank or a CSR wing of a corporate organization, or it could be some kind of research organization or role. So we have these social placements and we have a proper social placements committee, like a PGP placecom. We have a social placecom, I guess, in our second year, and these guys are elected after a lot of processes. Like there's a very long, intensive process that happens at the beginning of the second year, where we elect 2 people as the social placements coordinators who actively look out for these internships, get them, and we sit through this entire process. There are 2 rounds, or could be multiple rounds also, really depends on the year. Like for us, there were 2 rounds, and moving forward, then the internship starts. And post the internship, you have to submit a report to the IPM office, because it's a part of the curriculum. You have to pass this entire process. Like they give you basically a pass or fail, and if you get a pass, it means that you've moved on to the next year. So I'm currently interning at CII.co, which is the incubator at IIM Ahmedabad, and I'm currently in the IIMA dorm. Like we got campus accommodation as well, because the office is also on campus. So these 2 months, I'm just done with 1 month right now, but this entire experience, I would just say, is something that is so surreal and different and very exciting, because I had never ever imagined that I would get to stay at IIM Ahmedabad without being a part of PGP IIMA, and also go to an office like CII.co. Now I'll break this video down into 3 parts. The first part will talk about the role that I have and the project that I'm working on. The second part, I'll talk about how CII.co, like how the office environment is. And the third part, I'll go a little bit over like the other internships that my friends have been doing in other organizations, and even how this entire social placement process is a very learning curve kind of an experience for all of us. So starting with the role, I'm currently interning as the Insights intern at CII.co. And they are an incubator. Basically, they help startups. And one very interesting thing about them is that they help startups at any point of time from 0 to 1. So whether it's a startup that is at the very early stage, or if it's a startup that already has an MVP in place, they are very like out there, ready to go to the market. Also a startup that is in the revenue stage. So they just have certain filters and checks. Mostly they have an inclination towards tech, like when they are looking for startups to invest in. Now, one thing about my role is that our role was very research based, is what we were told initially through the process. And what happens in these social placement rounds or processes is that first we have a resume iteration round, where your resume is constantly iterated. Like you run it through your seniors once, then you run it through a super senior once, and you finalize and block your resumes. Post which we have like the social placements committee gives us the option that these particular companies are coming in this round. Now, obviously, this is very subject to change every year. There is a different process. For us, it was such that we were given a certain list of companies, and we were told that you have to give 3 choices, and these, like your resumes will be forwarded to these 3 companies, following which they will shortlist a certain number of students. If you are shortlisted, then based on their individual processes, you will be selected or not be selected. If you're not selected in a particular round, then you go on to the other round. So in the first round, I had applied for CII.co, HCL Foundation, and the third one was Vedanta. Basically, the way social internships work is that it's usually it could be a CSR wing in an established organization. It could be a think tank, a research organization, and so on. So these are usually the kind of roles and organizations that are there. So the other two, HCL and Vedanta, the role was a part of the CSR wing. Whereas for CII.co, it was insights or research intern. My first preference was CII.co because A, I am Ahmedabad, and B, I personally am very supremely passionate about startups. And this was also something that I felt would give me a lot of insight that I can add to my experience with UniVoyage. And also help me tell people that I'm networking with about UniVoyage and let them know that, we're doing something like this in the future. We might need some kind of help. So this entire process was something that I was looking forward to, which is why this was my very first preference. There was an interview process, like we had a shortlist where certain number of students were selected. And following which there were interviews for all of us. The interview was very short, like it was a 15 to 20-minute interview. And if I have to talk about my interview experience, they just started off by asking me that, hey Vedika, you have a lot of things on your resume. So why don't you tell us, why don't you pick and choose one thing that you want to tell us about? And I spoke to them about UniVoyage because I felt like that was something that was relevant to them. Like they are an incubator and I am a founder of a startup. So I just wanted to let them know that this is something that I'm very passionate about. So they heard about all of this and they said that that's pretty great, but we also wanted a little bit of insight on the research internships that you've done. So I have also done an internship as a private equity research intern at a US-based startup. And I was there for an entire year with them. Like last entire year I was working with them. So they asked me about that experience, which I spoke about. And following which, they even asked me how much knowledge do I have doing research. And I told them that I don't have a lot of knowledge doing quantitative, like statistical analysis. But what I had done in my previous roles was that I was given a problem statement. And based on the problem statement, I gave certain recommendations. And what is so interesting is that they remembered this and this helped them decide what kind of project that I would work on in these 2 months, which I felt was very, very thoughtful of them. And they ended up selecting 4 people from our batch. And my other friends, the ones that had spoken about doing statistical research, got projects where that was more applicable. And I got a project where I had to, apply, do qualitative research, basically primary research and not a lot of secondary research. So now coming to our projects, there are 4 of us and 2 of us are working in sectoral landscaping. Basically, they are defining a space or they're contributing for some report for different sectors. Like one of them is working on climate tech and the other is working on civic tech. You can check out CIE.co's website and you'll understand that they're usually interested in areas like this only. Like they've invested in startups also. Like they've invested in IIMS, which is clean tech, climate tech. So basically this is usually or insure tech, basically anything that has some kind of tech as a framework or a backbone, they're usually interested. So these were the areas that my friends were working on. The project that I got was basically talent planning for startups. So my recommendations will help in designing a toolkit or a toolbox that they will provide to the startups that they are incubating. And similarly, one of my friends is working on another similar toolkit. So my first project was talent planning for startups. And my second project is basically decoding cap tables and dilution challenges that startups face. So at different points, by the way, a cap table is like a entire structure that shows that किसके पास कितनी equity है. So that plus what are the dilution challenges that they face after every round of funding. So these were the two projects that I am working on, and my friend who has a similar qualitative research, she is working on the entire process that an incubator goes through, like defining the stages and all the problems that they face. So now for my project, what I was told was that this is the problem statement. We are going to interview founders. If you feel we need to interview other stakeholders also, you can let us know, and we'll interview these people, collect some insights from them, and provide like compiled recommendations. So I reached out to founders of startups. I prepared a questionnaire. I also thought that it would be very, very helpful to interview team members of startups, because it's very like demand supply. Like you need talent, but you have to also understand what the talent needs to attract it, right? So I interviewed team members that were there for a long period of time in the organization to exactly understand what made them stay and stuff. So we worked around challenges that startups face, right from attracting talent, maintaining them, retaining them, etc. And these were questions that I asked founders that CII.co was only connected to, and following which there were recommendations. And what a system that they have is, in the middle of the internship, we have to present our entire project recommendations and what all we've done. So we presented, and this is the first time that in a boardroom there are so many people sitting, like the entire team, and I had to present the entire thing, and of course there would be feedback and recommendations and questions and stuff like that. So that is there, and at the end of the 2 months also, CII.co has this system where they have a full term project. In the sense, this was midterm review, that will be full term review. So that is my role, and till now the experience has been amazing, because they have this system of providing ownership to people. Like I was given freedom to pick and choose my questions. I was given freedom to reach out to people, saying that I'm a part of the insights team of CII.co, interview them, make my own insights. There was no set format also that was given to me for the insights, and we were told that you can just work around it the way that you want. I mean, use your creativity and provide something that is constructive. And my friends that were working on the sectoral research, they basically provided like the climate tech. They defined the entire climate tech space. My other friend who was working on civic tech provided some recommendations on what policymakers can do, what governments and startups can do to ensure that the civic tech space is easier to get into. And in my case, what I did was I created an entire roadmap of talent planning, right from understanding what talent does a startup have, to bringing it full circle into having like a proper long-term employment strategy and even retention strategy, because talent retention is a major problem that startups face. So this experience was personally very enriching for me, because there were certain problem statements that I could personally relate to, because these are experiences that I faced in uni. And even while talking to founders, I could talk to them and tell them that, hey, even I'm a founder, and they give me certain advice outside of this entire project also on how to scale up a startup, etc. So overall, this project has been amazing. And for the second one also, I have to interview founders and VCs. So basically the process goes that you reach out to them, you interview them, and then you transcribe the interviews and make further insights, recommendations. If you need to reframe the questions, then you go back to the drawing board and you do that. What CII.co does is that they give you a lot of freedom. The office is amazing. Like I'll try to get some kind of video if it's allowed to show you guys. If not, you can probably follow me on Instagram. I put stories also. But my point is that the office is pretty cool, and they have a nice coffee machine also, and you get an access card and you get your own email ID, and it's pretty exciting because it's something that I'm personally experiencing for the first time in office. Like I've done internships before, but they've all been virtual. So this has been a great experience. Apart from this, staying at IIM Ahmedabad, you just feel like studying. The library is insane. I'll try to get a campus tour if possible. But at night, the entire place is lit up with yellow lights. It looks like Hogwarts, and you just feel कि library जाके पढ़ना है, because ऐसी vibe आती है, ऐसे लगता है कि मतलब you are at the pinnacle of all education institutions possible. So that is there. And overall also, what I feel like this entire social placement process teaches you is just gives you a lot of sense of independence and also sense of responsibility, because when you go to a new city and you're working somewhere, you have to be responsible for certain things, and these were changes that I saw. Like, we initially had to hunt for PGs to stay at. We would pack tiffins in the morning to take for lunch, and we felt very as a corporate. Sometimes I had to stay up till late finishing like some kind of deadline or presentation that you have to show the next day. And it's not something that you can escape like college, because it's not like you can take a holiday or you can just be like, I'm absent tomorrow. You have to be there and you have to show things that you've committed to. And at the same time, you also learn things like email etiquette, or just in general in office etiquette. So yeah, this experience is something that I feel is a good thing in IPM, that everyone should, try to make the most of, because it's just 2 months and we keep complaining that IPMers don't have work experience, but ये 2 महीने में भी बहुत कुछ one can learn. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. Maybe we'll make another video regarding all of this. And I hope you have a nice day. All the very best to all the aspirants out there. I wish you all the best. If you need UniVoyage is there. And please like, share, subscribe.